Hi. Okay. You look at the drawing and either like it or dislike it. Maybe it's because of the shading and rendering, which is part of the style. Personally, I tend to really like art styles where the colors have a strong contrast with sharp edges. So, kinda obviously, I wanna try to incorporate that into my own style while still staying true to the style I already have. Also, I've heard from multiple artists that less is more in art. You really don't need to draw 1,000 details for something to look good. Too many actual details can make the drawing look cluttered and messy. So, hey, hi, hello, my kid-ups. Konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayou gozaimasu. Watashi wa Hineko. And you can call me so. Or Ellie, I go by that too. And today I will show you and try my best to explain the small changes I have made. I even brought one thing back from an older art style of mine into the one I have now. So for at least a couple of months I used to shade using a lot of shade, adding a new layer of shadow for basically every level of depth in the smaller details and the crevices, which did look decent in its own way. It did take me a lot of time and made my perfectionism question itself all the time if I had enough shadow or if I should add one more layer. So one thing I have switched to is using only 3 to 4 layers of shadow, cause that's not too much, but it still shows enough depth that I like. And for the lighting, I usually just do 2 layers of lighting. One for the main highlight to see where the light is coming from, and then a second for details. I also like to use the airbrush because I find it a lot easier to add a more natural looking shadow with that brush. And for harder edges, I just erase the airbrush in that spot and use a soft blur on low opacity to soften the edge just a bit. And for the spots where there's a harder edge, I add a little more color on the edge of the shadow to really show off that it's a hard edge. One thing I stopped with for a while, but now has in my art style again, is about the final line art. I have thicker line art for the shadows. The darker the shadow, the thicker the line art. For the spots with one layer of lighting, I shrink the brush size from 0.5 to 0.3, and for spots lighter than that, I just don't add line art. I also don't do line art for every background. Really depends on what I think looks better. And now you know how I draw my rendered pieces. If you want, then I can show you how I draw the pages for my comic Divine Spectres on Tapas. But for this video, I have only shown you how I do the line art and shading and stuff for my completely rendered pieces. I know that this video most likely is a shorter one, but yeah, I hope you still liked it. Either I'll see you in my next video, then see you later. Or this might be your last time here. So then thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and have a good one. But for all of you, I'm gonna say Cowabunga plus ultra hot soup. Bye for now, my kidtops.